Hi everybody, this is Boogass Reviews, and today I'm going to be doing a review on the brand new McFarlane Toys BRZRKR B figure. So before we take a look at BRZRKR, let's take a look at all of the numerous accessories that he comes with. So first up, he comes with your standard McFarlane stand. This time it says BRZRKR on it, and surprisingly, I haven't had any problems with him standing up. Even getting him in poses with the weapons, he stood up perfectly fine for me. Up next, you get his data file with a really cool shot of the comic right there. This figure also did come with a digital code. I already redeemed mine. But both of the cards that came in this, the digital code and this data file, were super warped. I did manage to straighten mine out for the most part, but you can still see how wavy it is. So it does bum me the way that they packaged the cards in this. But if you want to read that, go ahead and pause that now. Up next, he comes with a set of fisted hands. Up next, he comes with an alternate left wide gripping hand for holding the severed arm that he comes with. And this arm is reused from the DC Multiverse King Shark Mega figure. And it's detailed pretty nicely. I think the blood paint looks good. It looks like a combination of solid and printed on blood. You also get a wash over top of the hand there. I feel like the end here could have been painted a little bit brighter, but it's still a cool accessory nonetheless. You can also use that open hand for holding the two-handed weapons that he comes with. Up next, he comes with his regular accessory holding hands. I have his pistol and his knife in there. The knife has some nice blood paint to it. I wish the blade would have been painted in silver though. He can't really hold it well, but he does have storage for it, and it's not where you think, which I will show off here later in the review. He has storage for the pistol on his left hip, but it's very loose. It just falls right out, so I'm going to have to put something down in there to make it a tighter fit. All of the rest of his weapons come from the McFarlane munitions pack. They are reused, which doesn't bother me because that is the best McFarlane's munitions pack. I use these weapons with all of my Spawn and DC Multiverse figures. So you get the assault rifle and the machine gun here, and the weapons they're cast in just plain black. On the previous ones, I've done a dry brushing of silver, and it brings the details out very well. Honestly, it changes them from looking really cheap to looking very professional. So yeah, if you have these, definitely do a dry brush of silver over top of them. It really makes the difference. Up next, he comes with these two futuristic looking weapons, and I don't like these for him at all. I'll definitely use these for other figures, but I just don't like the way they look with him. I think I ended up using the one that's in his right hand for a Marvel Legends Cable figure, because honestly that looks like something Cable would use more than B. Up next, he comes with a grenade launcher. Up next, he comes with a shotgun, but the grip is a little too big to fit in his hand. If you put it in his hand, you'll definitely stretch it out, and then he won't be able to hold any of the other accessories that he can hold perfectly fine. Up next, he comes with this Tommy gun. And this actually has some really good sculpt and paint detail to it. The paint to the stock there where it's wood and the wood grain texturing that they did, that actually looks really good. The handle there in his right hand can fit perfect, but the left one is way too big for this normal accessory holding hand. You'll definitely have to switch out to the wider gripping hand that I had holding the arm if you want him to hold this properly. For all of the weapons that he came with, he didn't come with a sword, and I really wish McFarlane Toys would have done that. I did find my Grifter sword from DC Multiverse, and that works perfectly. It has kind of a wide grip on it, so he can hold it very well, and he looks really awesome holding it. If you're like me, you didn't use any of the weapons that Grifter actually came with. They just went in a parts bin. So I was glad that I wasn't using this with a figure, because I might actually display him with a sword. I think he looks really cool with this sword. Up next, you get his standard head sculpt, which looks really good. I think it looks just like the comic, which also looks like Keanu Reeves. They printed all of the details on his face, like his eyes and eyebrows. The beard is solid paint, and I do see where a little bit of paint is missing right there, but for the most part, it looks really good. The hair is sculpted very nicely. I do think it's a bit glossy, though. That's my main complaint with that. He comes with an interchangeable screaming faceplate for this head sculpt. And I think a faceplate works really well for figures like this with long hair, or something where you can't see where it pegs into the head here. But I think that looks really good. They printed all of the details like his teeth and his tongue on, as well as the glow around his eyes. That looks very cool. Up next, he comes with this battle-damaged head sculpt, where his hair and skin is growing back. And I have to say, the printing on this looks really good. The shading around the eyes right there, as well as the blood paint on the face. and then the massive burn on the right side of his head. I feel like all of the different tones that McFarlane Toys painted on that looks realistic. You get pink lining the outside, some darker red, looks like a little bit of skin tone, maybe even a little bit of skull showing right there. So they actually painted that very well. I think that looks pretty realistic for an action figure. Up next, you get another damaged head sculpt. This time he has less hair. You can see where some of his hair has been singed off, and you get some more battle damage there. And again, that looks really good. Even the printing they did for the blood there on the teeth looks really good. So I think McFarlane Toys did a stellar job on all of these head sculpts, especially the battle damage ones. I think that's where this figure really shines. And with the battle damage head sculpts on, you can see the damage there on his neck. You can kind of see it with the regular head sculpt on, but it's a lot more apparent with these battle damaged head sculpts on. And finally, he comes with interchangeable battle damaged arms. And I think it's so cool that you get an extra set of arms with him. There's just so many ways that you can display this figure. And of course, if you wanted to switch these bloody wrapped hands out to the regular arms, you can. So yeah, you get so many different ways to display this figure. I think the battle damage on this looks really good. Like the texturing on the wounds right here, as well as the blood paint, that looks really good. The way that it's sculpted almost makes it look like there's a little strand of fabric right there, but it's just where the cut for the bicep joint is. But they actually hid that pretty well, I think. On both of these arms, I think they managed to hide the bicep swivel really well with that battle damage right there. That looks really good on both sides. On this side, you can actually see his muscles showing. So that looks really cool. You also get the blood-stained wrappings right here on his forearms. That looks really, really cool. And a really cool thing that you can do with this figure is you can pop his arms off. It is a bit of a process to do this. So you pop the arms off, you take the butterfly joints out, and pop the head off, and you can actually remove his vest to reveal more battle damage. You do have to kind of just slide it up like that, and he has even more battle damage underneath his vest right there. And again, it's sculpted really well, with the way the blood's running down the shirt right there. You can see the textures for the muscle showing through and the wounds. That actually looks really cool. McFarlane Toys did a very good job at sculpting this. And remember how I said he had a surprise place to put this knife? Well, you can actually put it in his side right there. So I think that's another really cool thing you can do with this figure. You just have so many options to display him, because you can display him with the vest on, with the vest off, with the knife in him. McFarlane Toys just gave us so many awesome accessories. This is going to be fun for photography. I've actually already done some, and he is just a really fun figure to photograph. I also forgot to mention he also has some really good sculpt detail to his back here, with the shirt torn and some more battle damage. That looks really cool. So now let's go ahead and take a look at the rest of the figure. So taking a look at the rest of the figure, it is sculpted really, really well. I love the paint variation on all of the pouches there. It looks like a brown wash. It looks like they did a wash over top of this. That way some of the black would still show through on the wrinkles. And I think that looks really good. You get some more paint detail back here on the pouches that hold his ammo clips, as well as some texturing back here. You get some wrinkles there. I love the texturing that you get to the wrappings on his hands and forearms. You also get a really nice black wash that brings the details out very nicely. I just wish they would have done a darker wash on the ball pegs right here. They do have a little bit of a wash to them, but not much, so it ends up sticking out and looking lighter than the rest of the collar right here. They even painted his belt. His belt is cast in a gray color and then has some brown paint over top of it. I definitely wish these would have had a wash or dry brushing over top of them, but I am glad that we do get a little bit of paint variation right here. He even has some really cool sculpt detail to his pants. He has some really good texturing to them. That looks really good. It's very glossy though. It definitely needs a bit of a matte finish sprayed over top of it, because his legs are really glossy compared to the rest of him. The way they sculpted the straps and then the strap to the pouches right here on the thigh pieces, I think that really looks good. It gives the illusion that they're connected, but they're not. These are sculpted on, and these just hang the right way. So if you have it lined up, it'll almost look like they're connected. I like the way that McFarlane Toys did that. And even the boots have some really good sculpt and paint detail to them. The laces are sculpted really well, and then you get a little bit of blue paint variation. It almost looks like a blue dry brushing right there on the bottoms of his boots. So yeah, the paint variation on this figure really surprised me. And the sculpt detail too. You get some nice wrinkles and textures, and the paint variation looks really good. And another positive on this figure is the articulation. I am pleasantly surprised with it. He's a very well articulated figure. So now, let's go ahead and go over that. So he has a ball jointed head that can look up all the way. He can look down just about all the way. He can move his head side to side and all the way around. He has shoulders that can move all the way out and spin all the way around. He has a swivel at the bicep, double jointed elbows that can bend in all the way despite the sculpted wrinkles right there. He has wrists that can move up and down and spin all the way around. One thing that I'm pleasantly surprised with the articulation is you can actually get him in a realistic shooting pose. I think it's really cool that you can actually use his articulation and make it look realistic with the weapons that he comes with. He has a ball jointed diaphragm and waist that can move back all the way. He can actually crunch forward a decent amount, and that's even with his vest on. He can move side to side in both places and all the way around. He can do a complete split. He can kick forward very far. He can kick back just a little bit. The only place where his articulation is limited is his thigh swivel. You can see that that is pretty hindered, but that's really my only complaint with his articulation. He has double jointed knees that can move back all the way, ankles that can move down all the way, up all the way, spin all the way around, and toe articulation that can move up that far. So now, let's do a couple size comparisons. So first up, here he is next to your standard DC Multiverse Batman figure. This is the Nightfall Batman figure. And finally, here he is next to the Diamond Select Toys John Wick figure. And it's really crazy to me, but this Diamond Select John Wick figure is even taller than all of the McFarlane figures I have. New McFarlane figures are a little bit taller than 7-inch scale. But yeah, this John Wick figure is just really tall and really bulky. So it's crazy to see something that's even taller than a McFarlane figure. That's why I've kind of just had this John Wick figure in a tote, because I really don't have anything that he scales with. I don't mind figures being in a different scale, but yeah, he just doesn't scale with anything I have. So overall, I would highly recommend this. I think McFarlane Toys did a stellar job on this. I think the sculpt detail is great, the paint detail is really good, and the accessory count is insane. This might just be my favorite McFarlane figure of the year. I knew I'd like it, but I didn't know I would like it this much. With the photography and posing him around, and just having all the different options for displaying, like the alternate heads, the hands, the removable vest, I've just had a really fun time with this figure, and this might stay my favorite McFarlane figure of the year. It's still early on and they still have a bunch of figures that's coming out, but as of now, this is my favorite McFarlane figure of the year. They just did a very awesome job on this, and it is worth every penny. So, that's my review. If you like this review, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.